Good evening, everyone. This video is going to be a trading review and support session for March the 30th, 2022. So today is the first day that I have switched to, trying to take good entries, but definitely going to be using a stop and perhaps letting some trades run if it looks like they should be let run. And so I tried that today, and I was on sim. So these results are based on simulation trading. Don't know if I'll look at the market tomorrow to see if I'm going to switch back to real money. Strong possibility that I might, and we'll go through some of the reasons today. Ended up making money today, not a whole lot, and as we're going through the trades today, I'll kind of highlight what we don't want to do and more of what we do want to do. So I definitely made some mistakes if I wasn't going to try to defend the trade and reverse and add to and all that sorts of things, which is what we're breaking. And so probably maybe could have made more money if I had done that, but if I had misjudged or was stubborn and tried to defend too much, possibility I could have lost money. So anyway, I ended up wasn't quite there when the morning ended, but I ended up 9 points for the day gross, and that's even with multiple stop outs and closes. So so we need to try to reduce those, and things will be much better. So let's go ahead and go through those trades, and certainly we'll have some time to answer those questions. Any questions at the end? I have shipped out the latest version of the software, so you should have it in your email box now. And some of these consolidations of indicators and reduction of indicators you will have, and you'll be looking at it the exact same way I do. All right. So here's the open, and it looked like it made that one tick higher high here. So I tried this entry. This is pretty early, and we may need to slack off a little bit. The trade was already kind of in motion, and it ended up not really working. So it didn't quite, and made it back up here, so it wasn't going to go. So I closed it. So I closed it, somewhere around in there, for a loss, right? So it was something of a loss, right? So then I went short, right? And that one wasn't working, so I closed that one, and so had two closes, early on, so starting the day a little bit negative, and then we came down, and then I took this short and made money there, and so still wasn't positive, but oops, hang on, almost closed the room, but at least got some of the loss back. And some of these saying, I got out here, could have gotten more, but I was trying to get out, and I did get out before the 2x200. So let me see what else. We're in the fast zone here. It's kind of best to leave those alone. We come down, and then we come back up, right, breaking out of the fast zone here. So took this long trade, and I think I was going for more. I think I reduced it because I looks like I was out here, right? Got out it over here, but it went up a little bit higher. So I think I probably settled for a point or so there. So this, we'll see. This was a little bit. I don't know. We'll talk about this timing. I'm looking at things to do that. So here was another one of those trades. There's like 3 that are coming up in a row that were not exactly wise. So this one, right? It's not making new highs. Didn't want to hit the close yet, And so so I go short here, but short, it was an expansion, the flexes were down, all that good stuff, but going short right into a lot of support, and it ended up bouncing. So I jumped out. Right, so that was one, boo boo again. Right, so that's at least maybe three, right, that I could have avoided. And here's a couple that are really kind of bad, right? I even said, well, I really shouldn't chase this. And look at all this area that the market has already gone up, right? This is what we're trying to avoid, right? So I chased it. So this is definitely what we don't want to do, right? If we're not going to get it early, right, in the trade development, then we should leave it alone. I did get some, right? I did get a trade here. I don't think I mentioned that. I did get a trade here, and I just counted on an extension, and it wasn't a high volume day, so it didn't work. So we're definitely trying to not do that, and we're definitely not trying to add insult to injury, right? Here it is. I chased it again, right, as it's coming back over. Sometimes these things are going to work, and sometimes they are not. But since we are using stops, right, we just can't hang on, right? We're not trying to add. We're not trying to stop and or reverse. We're just trying to get relatively good trades. If we don't like the way it's going, we could always close, and as I did earlier. So two stops in a row with bad entries, right? So that's 6 points right there, and much less the other one. So a lot of profit could have been had if I didn't make some of those more aggressive entries. So here's another entry. Made a little bit of money on this one, right? Coming back down, getting a lot of selling, right? So, but I'm going for more, right? And I think I was going for somewhere down in here, or maybe because it hit there, maybe I was going for more. But anyway, I got out over here, so probably for not that much profit, but some profit. And here I took this entry. This one is better, right? It's still kind of breaking out of the fast zone, right? So that one's better, right? And got that trade. And I think I was around here when it came back down, and then it's doing a whole lot of nothing, kind of coming back into value low and kind of in a trading zone here. Oh, let's see it. I see an out here. So somewhere I took a trade. Where'd I get in? Let me look at my chart to see where the arrow is going. That's in the 730, 732 range. Let me just scroll back some. Okay, so it was out there, and it looks like the entry was 28.25, coming off of, oh, there it is, coming off of the close. There's the arrow right there, coming off of the close and VWAP. So it ended up there, and it looks like I went for got the whole 2 points. At that point, I was going for 2 points because it was kind of a low volume kind of a day. So getting some of that, and I don't really remember. It's hard to keep track when you're not getting exact 1 point, 1.5, or 2 points on each trade. I mean, we're going to be managing the trade as best we can, right? And I think I must have been looking at something else at this particular point, and trend change. I see the arrow, so it must have here, right? So it took this after it's breaking out of the fast zone, so it must have just gotten something there. Let me roll back over and see what my judgment was on profit X at that point. 754. So entered in at basically 13 and exited at 12. I only took 1 point because I was trying to get out, which I did, before the 2x200. It came down briskly anyway. And let's see. Moving over, so it's. I think I took another trade in here somewhere. Maybe I didn't. Oh, here it is. Here's the long trade. So I didn't rush it anymore, right? Because I got it relatively early, and but anyway, I missed this whole. So in addition to the bad trades, right, that really should have been making, I mean, didn't take any trades, during that time frame, right, and that move down, and that was pretty good. It was under the fast zone, under the 2x200. It was under everything, and any entry in there would have yielded a profit. So I waited till it settled, coming above the 2-minute close, above the flexes. It was pretty consistent, so I got here and I was out over here. And I think if I remember this one, I think I got seven ticks on that one, and I think that was maybe my last trade of the morning. Looking around, oh no, I thought there might have been one more. There's one more. And we're under the flexes here. This might have been a little bit early, right? But we had some topping action going on, right? So I took a trade in here, and that one produced. So and I traded a little bit more in the afternoon. I was finalizing the software, getting it ready to send out. Had to go run some errands. So I ended up with 9 points, and we just saw that I could have eliminated the stop outs were 6 points, and the two kind of aggressive entries were probably at least 4, maybe 5. So just with that, and I mean, eliminating the bad entries, it could have been maybe closer to a 20-point day, right? So so anyway, it's it's the first day trading this, and of course we're not defending and all that kind of stuff. So I'm pleased that at least it was a positive day, and that's kind of the reason why sometimes you trade it on sim, so you can go back and look at, well, that was way too aggressive if we're not going to be defending and all that kind of stuff and using stops. So lessons learned. So so you've got the software. If you don't feel rushed, you don't have to install it tonight. You can take your time and install it whenever whenever you get a little bit. It won't take too long. And so so I called it 8.0. I mean, there was another 7-point available. I could have called it 7.9, but we're kind of using the same indicators, but with the new trading technique. So I started fresh. 8.0 is what we're going to be calling it. And I'm sure we'll iterate it some. I mean, nothing is changing dramatically anymore, right? We just got rid of some of the old stuff that's too slow, and I like everything that we've got, and we'll just be focusing on speed and trade management, and we'll talk about trade management more. But not until we get our entries pretty solid, right, to the point where we might, since we're using stops, we don't have to use as much of the account. We can potentially go back to double units and get one out and let one trail, or have a bigger profit target. We could always hit close, but having maybe a trailing stop or something like that to be able to manage the other unit. All right. So any questions on that? Well, I looked at it. I did look at it. And if we're making reasonable entries, three should be okay. And if you're using something more than three, it's like for instance five. If you're using five, one stop out kind of hurts, right? So for me anyway, that's going to tempt me to. I think it would probably because five is what I used to use, right? I didn't adhere to it, but I used to throw a 5 point stop on the initial order, but then I would manage the trade and add to and potentially reverse and all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to keep the stop. So if we do get a stop out, and today we had we had at least two, if not more, stop outs, and also some closes for loss. So I'm trying to get the entries good enough that the stop doesn't have to be five, right? Because if we're around, if we're taking trades kind of around fast and ultraflex, right? If it goes 5 points in the other direction, then that's the trade is off, right? The trade is off, and we should be stopped out. That's my opinion. And as I look at history, then I'll be looking to see. Yeah, we're gonna see what happens and see how good of an entries that we can make, and or maybe if it goes a little bit our direction, maybe we've tried the trailing stop thing before, and I was always too tight with the trailing stops, right? And it would come back and it would frustrate me with some stop outs. I think we're concentrating on better entries now, right? So we can see what happens. We'll gain some experience. I mean, the good news is even like today, right? Made some aggressive entries, right? More like olden days, um, and still was able to overcome them with enough trading and getting some profits and getting it back a little bit at a time. So yeah, so we need some more experience, and we'll dial the stop in, we'll dial a trailing end. We may, for those who want to, go to a multi-unit strategy of getting some out, maybe getting half of it out at 2 points, let the other half go with the trailing stop. There's all sorts of creative things we can do. The important thing is to get the entry rate. Trade management is critically important as well, right? But as long as we're not racking up losses, stops, right? Okay, you bet. All right, have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you tomorrow morning in the trading room, and we will continue this endeavor. All right, have a great day. We'll see you later.